This one's from Kate Jensen. Thanks, Kate. Going off of Brennan's content warning comment, what are some of the most interesting topics you guys as players and DMs have explored through playing D&D? Thanks, Kate. This is a great question, and I think like D&D rules, because of its ability to simultaneously provide like just pure love and affection between friends, goofs and spoofs, doing bits, just laughing your ass off at crazy shenanigans. But also, like, look, the reason role playing is powerful is because fiction is powerful. And when you get to participate in that fiction in present tense with a first person perspective, it gets really, really powerful. Like, you know, it's on a certain level, it's a game, but on another level, like, I don't know. I remember playing like the characters I've played, like even for the short stint that I had being a guest on NADPOD, having like another person reach out and offer like a little spoilers, little like mini redemption arc. I was like in a better mood for the weeks after we like recorded those episodes. It does. I don't know, it's very powerful, like to go like, oh, I'm playing a cynical character who doesn't care about people, who thinks the world is out to fuck you, and then learns about kindness and caring and growth because of a choice someone that's a friend of mine IRL really made. There's just no way that's not powerful. Anyone that tells you stories aren't powerful is just lying. Like, what the hell? Without stories, we don't have a way to gain the knowledge of the culture that we're in. Like, you can only experience so much life firsthand. The reason that every single culture through time immemorial has told stories is because we all recognize that it sucks to have to learn everything over again and keep reinventing the wheel. You're growing up as a kid and someone's like, hey, I know there's moments you're going to want to be a dick. Here's all these stories about why friendship and love is important. Trust me, your ancestors found this out the hard way. You know, stories are how we encode cultural values. And I think creating those stories is a really powerful way to do them. So for me, you know, this is a deeper, more profound thing about like storytelling brings us to, and D&D in particular, lets us explore cause and effect, wear these masks and try these other neural pathways out to see what would happen if we thought or behaved differently. And I think that that's really valuable and makes us more human in a sense. So I think there's an incredible value in it.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a in addition to being a game, it's almost like a philosophical exercise where you're almost, when you embody a character, you see things from their point of view, and that it makes you almost more empathetic, like in life, or like it makes you understand your friends better because you're like, right, this is clearly a piece of like, you know, usually your character is some piece of yourself or some piece of some point of view. And so to like be able to have those arguments when the stakes are like, you know, pretend high makes it safe, but it also makes you like, I don't know, speak maybe more honestly than you would if you weren't like a little rat man or something.
Yeah. you like never have to actually confront that in real life.
Right.
And so to be put in the hypothetical situation where you are, I don't know, saving the world or like, you know, helping people do other things.
I think especially as a DM too, and Brennan, I'm sure like you experience this a lot, which is like you present something as like, oh, well, this is the way I think morally about this or something. So this is a given. And I know I experienced this in AdPod, and then the players would come back and they'd be like, well, no, I think this needs to like, this isn't so cut and dry for me. Like we need to like do this or do that. And then it makes you rethink. It's like, oh yeah, maybe that was too black and white in my head, or like, maybe like, you know,
Oh God. I mean, in terms of exploring morality, absolutely. And I think Murph, you're hitting on a great thing for dungeon masters as well. That is always the kind of creates pressure there, which is like a dungeon master is simultaneously like a physics engine and like a sociology express, because you're trying to like in this, you know, how hard is it to jump up on that ledge? As a DM, you're just making an arbitrary choice. And you're doing the same thing with how civilizations and cultures and the people within them behave. Like in this one, I was so worried because this was the consequences season, but ultimately the political machinations of Calorum and its brilliant Machiavellian, power centers are all fictional characters created by a dude with like a degree in screenwriting and philosophy. I'm not a political science. So there's a degree, I think, whenever you're running this stuff to be like when I say this is reality, really it's like my best guess of it.
Yeah, it was really fun to be researching top surgery for myself and for Pete, and then do a season as a character who had that surgery, and then as a person get that surgery. Like it was fun to kind of like role play, and look up stuff online and stuff like that, and then be like, oh, some of that was correct and some of that was wrong. I didn't know what it was like yet, I think like in the same like scene where I like wake up from surgery, we're like in the world and I'm walking around and then realizing it's like, oh no, there's like 3 days of being spoon fed.
You fight a mutant Santa the next couple hours later, right?
Magic.
Oh God, it's so true.
Yeah.
To that point, also, Murph, you were saying, because I really love this question. There's this thing. This is not about D&D. But it is about D&D. It's about role playing in general. I remember it was this way back in like the 2000s. I was working at the LARP at the Wayfinder Experience, and we talk about the power of role playing, right? And I think I've said on another episode of Adventuring Party that thing about like this like ethics test that people that were exposed to a short piece of fiction scored the highest on the ethics test, that like remembering that other people are real and are also having an experience of reality is the most effective way to build empathy and like moral judgment, right? And at least according to this one study, it's a pretty definitive statement. But there was a sweet little kid that came to LARP camp this one time, and in terms of like the power of make-believe and of like especially like fantasy role playing. Kid shows up first day of camp. It was like this kid was 14 years old, and it was like this was like full emo is king, like swoop of hair, like beanie over, like edgelord. And they literally like one day walked out of the bunks with like a Slipknot t-shirt. Like this kid was like, and very clearly was like, as a political stance, not making friends at the camp, right? Like, I'm not going to make friends. And was like, whatever, like opening circle would be like, everyone check in with your favorite breakfast cereal and how you're feeling today. And he'd be like, my favorite breakfast cereal is knives, and how I'm feeling today is that this place sucks. And we're like, okay, we get it, you're 14, and in the game, so we get to the part where we're actually now in costume, there's swords, it's medieval, all this shit. This kid is like playing a knight, and we're all like worried about, is the kid going to actually get in character or feel it? First, it's not looking that great. And then something happens where monsters attack out of the woods. This kid is the only survivor. And like, it's been an hour, I haven't seen the kid. The kid runs up to me, is full weeping. Like the character is fake, tears extremely real. Kid runs up and is like, my lord, the monsters have attacked out of the woods, and they took the thing, and I was injured, but I ran all the way here. And the kid's not really injured. The kid is really doing an incredible job of acting out an in-game injury, and like bravely sacrifices his life as like this wounded messenger to come and deliver this message. And like before the kid dies, and by the way, when the kid dies, he's going to put on a piece of cheesecloth and walk to the bunks and get a new character, but still very emotional. Puts on it, it's like they're dying. I'm like saying to him, like, your warning has saved the kingdom. And he looks and gets this like stoic look, and he's like, thank you, my king. I died knowing I protected my people. And truly, we got like a letter from that kid's dad the week after, where he was like, he's like talking at breakfast now. He's like doing that. It was this transformational thing. Obviously, that's not uniform. It's not a universal experience, but there aren't always that many opportunities. The way that our day-to-day lives are structured in this massive civilization to do something heroic. And sometimes it takes a really glaring analogy, like literally monsters and heroes, something that is so symbolic and powerful, to trip something in you and make you start being more heroic in those small ways day to day where it really matters. I think about that kid a lot, man. Yeah, I love role playing, and I think that you do find those heroic lessons in these things, and hopefully take them and move with them as much as you can into your regular life. D&D fucking slaps. I love it. That's my takeaway.
That kid was Timothy Chalamet.
And that kid, Gary Gygax. Brennan is 200 years old.
I'm 200 years old, dude.
He created D&D.
Gary Gygax was super emo in the aughts. Yeah.
Gary Gygax loved Slipknot.
He's 23.
He loves Slipknot.
Gary Gygax is talking at breakfast now.
Oh. Holy shit. That's so funny.